Our next story tonight is about the land of pharaohs. Ancient Egypt has long seemed not only baffling and magical, but also mysterious. Despite centuries of research, a number of questions remain unanswered. But now, one mystery seems to have been solved. That of the 3,500-year-old screaming mummy, the mummified body of an ancient Egyptian woman. It was discovered in 1935 with a startling expression that has long puzzled researchers. The mummy's face is twisted and its mouth is wide open, as if it is screaming, has been screaming for eternity. And researchers finally have the answer to this. So why does this mummy seem to be locked in a scream? Why and how did ancient Egyptians mummify their dead? Here's a report.
This is The Scream, an iconic painting by Edvard Munch. It has long captured the human imagination. But what if we told you this painting has come to life in death? We are talking about this, the Screaming Mummy. This is a 3,500-year-old mummy of an ancient Egyptian woman. It was discovered in 1935 in a wooden coffin at a site near Luxor in Egypt. And since then, it has been one of the biggest mysteries in Egyptology. But why is it called the Screaming Mummy? Because of this startling expression. The mummy has its mouth wide open and locked for eternity, in what appears to be a scream. This may have triggered some millennial fears. Have you watched the movie, The Mummy? The Screaming Mummy has destroyed a good night's sleep for many and still fuels internet memes, like this one, where a screaming mummy has been likened to a toddler screaming after not getting their way. And the human is screaming back to establish dominance. But memes aside, why is this mummy screaming? This question has puzzled scientists for years, and now, they finally have an answer. The woman most likely died crying out in agony. Researchers suggest that her mouth was open due to a painful death or emotional distress, or a spasm that froze her face, and apparently the embalmers who mummified her were unable to close her mouth. So she was preserved as is. Her exact cause of death still remains unclear, but scientists have another fascinating finding. They have found no sign of an embalming incision. The organs are still inside the mummy, which is a surprise. Because the classic method of mummification included the removal of all organs, except the heart. This was important in the Egyptian religion. Ancient Egyptians believed that the body has to be preserved in as lifelike a manner as possible for the afterlife. So the organs were kept in separate containers and all the moisture was removed from the body. This was done so successfully that the mummified bodies continue to be well preserved, even 3,000 years later. After all, great efforts went into the mummification process. After death, it was usually the pharaohs of Egypt who were mummified. Hundreds of people could be involved in the process, and elaborate tombs were built for this. Though members of nobility and officials often received similar treatment, and occasionally, so did the common people. Because almost always, the mummification process was expensive. But we don't have to scream the obvious here. Despite the elaborate preparations, sometimes, mummification didn't go as planned. If the screaming mummy could, it would most likely agree.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment.
So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree One tree for humanity. One tree for Mother Earth. One tree for our future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
On this today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can we expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alison Green, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
Start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. The first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost America. I'm Aaron Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C.